The great Bill Murray once said, and mind you, this is off Tumblr, so for all we know, this could be a skinwalker who has internet access impersonating Bill Murray, but regardless, he said, every Olympic event should include one average person competing for reference. Now, when the voice of the divine being Garfield speaks, I make it a habit to listen. And honestly, I thought this would be an interesting idea, probably would bump up the viewership of the Olympics, but yeah, like just have the audience register, get their name in a lottery, Hunger Games style, and whoever gets the golden ticket underneath their seat, they just go up to the stage, box, swim, go toe to toe with any of the Olympic athletes just to show the huge difference. It's a great idea on paper, but it's not in motion apparently. Because guess what, buckaroos? We got it. The stars aligned and we actually got to see this in action. And it was in the worst possible way ever.
好的，选手出发，齐尔瓦莫朗现在的领先还是比较有优势的，石川优在这个阶段逐渐开始掉队了。齐尔瓦莫朗处在第一位，率先撞线，全力的去冲啊，似乎想收着劲儿跑，但是已经。
For those who don't know, this isn't really the Olympics, but the World University Games in China. And that was not a qualified sprinter. So the crazy story that's coming out is that this runner was possibly the niece of the chairwoman of the Somalian Athletics Federation, who is now suspended for this little presentation of nepotism. Like, it really looks like they just told her 20 minutes ago in the locker room, hey, you're going to be in the race, so just stretch your calves, relax, do some yoga. You'll be able to smoke these Olympic-level athletes, no problem. And I don't know. Everything about this is just insane. How did this get by? Like, honestly, it wasn't even a competition. It's like the equivalent of going in, trying to take on esports level professionals in a fighting game, and you're just given an unplugged controller just so you could feel like you're participating. That's what it felt like. There was no competition there. And I know it's fun to point and laugh at this outlandish event that just occurred, but it's also sad when you think about there's many talented athletes in Somalia that could have done this, and they were robbed. They were robbed. It's not looking good no matter which way you cut this. It really is sad to train day in and day out and to see yourself not get that place, but instead you see someone who shows this to the world, that this is your representation of your country. It really is a disgrace. And oh man, it really hits the self-esteem that your opportunity was robbed, not because you weren't better, but because of just nepotism, which isn't just limited to this one event. It's all around us in a sense. And the sad reality is this is an incident that got caught on camera. There are many around the world that just go unnoticed, that go ignored, and it could be happening in your own workplace. I'm pretty sure you've bumped into some of these kind of people, right? Like, how did they get this job? My local manager, Joe Donut, can't rub two brain cells together to spark a semblance of a thought, and yet he's making a six-figure salary over me. Something's fishy there. Something's fishy. Why does he look just like the CEO? It's a sad world we live in, but I'm glad to see it's somewhat getting addressed here. But the reality is most of these guys, they wait for the cameras to shift away, then they keep doing it. It's a habit for them. They've gone through their life without getting challenged, so they think they could keep getting away with it. Like, I know, I've seen my fair share of Cro-Magnons roaming around this planet with free real estate in their heads. But, oh my God, it's just, attention has been put. This is good. They're getting a legal action against them for, falsification of all of this Yahoo mess that's happening. And yeah, it's not going to look pretty, at least for the time being, but hopefully this gets sorted out and an actual athlete that is trained and is valued for their, place being there gets selected. Because, oh man, Somalia, it deserves better than this, man. Apologies were made for this race, this little performance of genjutsu that they thought they were going to get away with. But it's just baffling to think someone could have this much, ego arrogance that they think they could get away with doing this in broad daylight with cameras. It's just amazing in some sort of morbidly interesting way, I guess. And the thing is, the winner of the race won in 11 seconds, while the imposter among us won in 21 seconds, a whole 10 seconds behind the other race, the first place racer. And that doesn't seem much on paper, but when you see in action, as you could see here, it's a stark difference. There's just no way you could get away without explaining what's going on here. And honestly, just going in dry, no practice, no prep is a decision I can't really bash, because I sort of did this myself for it was like a breast cancer awareness marathon, and I signed up with a friend to do it. And oh boy, I trained. I did train. I ran every day, sprinting, jogging, and I do come from a runner background. It's just the night before the race, I decided to stay up and play video games until 3. And the race started at 7. 4 hours of sleep and to do a marathon? You might as well tie cinder blocks to the back of your legs, because that's how it felt. And I was so angry because the reward for, I think first place, it was a charity run, but still, they gave rewards, and the first place prize was like a basket of these luxury, fancy, home-baked cookies. And you know me, I will literally wrestle bipedal mutant porcupines on a bed of searing coals, even if I could get a crumb of that fancy cookie. I loved home-baked chocolate chip cookies. I really do. I got a consolation prize, which was 1 cookie, but still, I could have had a basket. I managed to beat the race, not beat the race, but complete the marathon. It just took me like an hour and a half, when it took most people 45 minutes, something like that. It was not pretty. And it just goes to show that you really need to put your entirety in these things. And if you don't, you're kind of disrespecting the race and the people involved in it. Why should you get rewarded for something that others have been, putting their life and soul into? Regardless, this act of nepotism was caught, and it's going punished. Hopefully the right Somalian athlete gets their chance, because they truly deserve it. It's a sad thing whenever people who work hard don't get their, actual reward. Yeah, we'll see. But for now, that's all I have to say for the matter. And I really am angry now that I think about that chocolate chip cookie. From now on, whenever I sign up for marathons, I make sure. I don't care how badly I want to stay. The reason why I like to stay up, it's not because of some sort of insomnia or anything. It's just because I want some sort of semblance of freedom that I don't get in the daytime. It's insane. I know I should sleep on time, but I gotta clock in 3 hours of playing Blanca on Street Fighter 6 somehow. Those cheeks are waiting for me. You know what I mean. But yeah, I might have shared too much there. That's all I had to say. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, that's all there is.